Te whānau, Adam Blair here. Welcome into our new show, Runner Straight, where we talk all things rugby league. This is episode 1. Check it out. Kia ora everybody, welcome into our show. But before we kick off the show and talk all things rugby league, let's bring in all our crew. Tui on the nice red velvet couch. Our man Esther over there on the mic, and then out the back, Dils.
Yo, how we doing, team?
Really good, thank you.
Nice.
All right, let's kick it straight off, boys. Thursday night game, Broncos Storm. What do you think?
Pretty
It's a close game.
Oh, you make up your mind. Who wants to talk?
you
He's
go
too
to it, you
far
go
out.
to
Oh, no, bro, it was a close game. Your turn, man.
Is that what you had to say?
No, because we said the same thing, so your turn, bro.
I am working with a couple of frauds here, and honestly, guys, get it right.
It was a close game in score, but in performance, not really, in my opinion. I don't think the Broncos looked that good.
Bro,
They got lit
relax,
off the
relax,
hook.
my bro. You're so
I'm going straight for
serious.
the jugular,
You're so
man. I
serious.
don't like the Broncos. Sorry, Broncos. I don't like the Broncos. But I had a man of the match that I'd like to hear your opinion on, Adam. Jerome Hughes.
Jerome Hughes, killer. I thought he was the best player on ground for sure. But there was also some other outstanding players on the other side as well. I thought, like, my opinion for the game, guys, 34-32, not really a game that you associate the Melbourne Storm with, to be honest. They're a grinding team. They stick to systems and structure. But I think when they played the Broncos, the game changed because they had to open it up a little bit because that's the style of the Broncos as well. So they fell into, I don't think it was a trap because they ended up winning, but they fell into a style that we don't normally see where they express themselves, they move the ball, they play a little bit more expansive footy, and hence the scoreline. Hey, Tui.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Like,
Are you a fan of any of these teams?
I can't say that, bro.
Oh.
You know, I can't say that,
You're
man.
bad? You're bad?
I can't say that, man. But I felt like the Broncos, they do look different when they have missing players. You know, like Reece Walsh and the structure and what he can create for them. I felt just wasn't there. Sailor's good, but Walsh just adds something different.
What about Ezra Mann? I thought he was pretty...
I like that guy.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
What do you like about him? Well, why do you reckon why do you like him?
I think he's cunning.
Cunning.
Yeah,
Cunning.
man.
Yeah.
He's
Good,
sneaky.
man. That's a good word.
Yeah,
He's
cunning.
sneaky, yeah. I feel that, you know. And I hear Dylan over there, yeah. So I think he agrees with that as well.
Dills, do you like the Broncos or do you like the Storm? And what's your thoughts on this game?
I was definitely favouring the Storm heading into that game. I wasn't really expecting the Broncos to be to have that scoreline that close. It felt like, what was your opinion on the game, Adam? Like, was it? It seems like the scoreline was pretty flattering considering the type of tries the Broncos were scoring.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the game. And when I spoke about I just said it before about the expansive style of football that was played. That's not a game that the Storm normally play. But again, they'll be happy with winning that one. I just want to mention Benjamin Te Kura. Boys, did you see his debut? The Man Mountain. What did you think? I had some dealings with him through the Kiwi A space, and got him standing up next to Nelson off Sofa Solomona. Bro, he's bigger than him.
What?
And I think he might be 19. If you'll quote me on this one, bro, you got your Google search in your head, so you'll come with me with his age. But I think he's only 19. 100 and what? Give me some stats on his height as well, because I don't have that all on my head. Yeah, keep Googling through there because you've got no idea anyway. But anyway, guys, what do you reckon, Dills?
Just to interrupt you there, like, is he born in New Zealand or was he born over in Australia? Do you know much about his background?
Ephraim on the Google search, so that's.
We'll claim him, right? We'll claim him.
No, I think he was born in Australia. This is me just chucking it out there without even knowing.
How we doing over there?
He's 205 centimetres. This is the first part. Sorry, you're moving way quicker than me. My brain's slow. But He's 205 centimeters. So what's that? 6'6" or 6'7"?
Oh, but we don't need a translator. I'm just asking
For our
for
American audience, though. What?
we're heading American.
yeah.
Oh,
Vegas,
let's go.
Vegas, right?
Now we're talking, okay.
19
We'll
years
be in
old.
Vegas before you know it.
I hope so. man.
Yeah.
Got business to do over there, and you wanted to know where
yo.
he's born, so let me just
Oh
look
my
that
gosh,
up too.
bro! We're waiting for you to get it. I just told you. I'm saying that he's born in Australia. He's 19 years old.
Yeah, born and bred Brisbane.
There you go, brothers.
You
Hey,
were right, mate.
Brisbane.
Jeez, it's all up in the head. But what do you guys think of his debut game? Big raps and big hypes around Benjamin Te
Yeah.
Kura. He's coming for. Who did he come in for?
Oh, your mate Xavier, didn't he?
Yes, there he
Yeah,
is, Xavier Willison.
Yeah, so he got a.
Joey, don't
what
you be
happened?
looking at me like that, my bro.
I was about to say it, you know? I was about to say it.
Yeah, so coming for Xavier Willison. But what a person to replace him with. But a debut as well. I thought he did really well. I think he had a few tackle breaks. He's got a nice try to bring the Broncos back into the game.
I heard there was
great
a lot of,
opportunities.
or I was seeing controversy right before the season started about him, that people were reckoning he wouldn't do good because he's too big.
He's too
Yeah,
big.
well, I guess that's an argument you can have. I think the game's moving really quickly, but it's really moving quickly through the middle of the park, as in that's where it's dominated. Again, it hasn't gone back to the old way, but the middle is the most important part of the game, and the forwards are your strengths. So the Broncos have all their pace out wide. So if they can create that momentum through the middle of the park, that's where they allow those guys to do their thing, similar to what the Warriors are doing as well with their strong forward pack. So it's something to keep an eye on and keep watching that space around, I guess, the Brisbane Broncos. You imagine him, Te Kura and Xavier Willison in that forward pack coming off the bench. Wow,
For Payne Haas.
Hey, for Payne Haas and the boys that they have there. So that'll be, a space that we should all watch out for, and a couple of really good quality kids still.
Out of curiosity, who was the tallest player that you ever played with?
I'd be Nelson.
Nelson.
So
So,
one-
you played with Nelson.
So I played with Nelson, so 1 under. So just not the same height, but
And he's a giant,
big
bro.
boy, because
He's-
when you're tackling guys, you wanna, it's people are all different heights when you're playing, so you have to change your tackle technique a lot. So, your normal tackle technique will be under the ball. On Nelson, I don't know where you tackle, because if you go under the ball, that's his knees. You know what I mean? You must be getting knocked out. You've played a bit of sports before, so haven't you?
Yeah, bro. I think that's what they were talking about, though. When they said he was too big in terms of, like, how people can cut him down and all that stuff, like tackle techniques being he's too big, easy to cut off, or,
But
Yeah,
it's-
is that what the disadvantage is? It's
What?
just there's more surface area to be able to hit.
But I think when they talk about it, I think it's more the agility around the movements around the field, eh? So being able to move quick enough from marker, fixing up into A position, just doing those kind of things. Because laterally, you've got to be really good in rugby league, because you can't really clock off. So for bigger guys with bigger body, you need to be able to move sideways quickly, laterally quickly. So that's where. But I thought he did well.
Yeah.
He was a big part of
that's
that game and keeping them in the game.
Definitely.
So he was important.
One more thing on the game. Adam Reynolds got injured again.
Yeah.
How much do you think that affected them in that game and will affect them?
Yeah, I think it's leadership. That's where Adam Reynolds comes into the game. He's their key organiser. He's the guy that puts them in the corners, similar to someone like Sean Johnson for the Warriors.
Yep.
Having him off the field, you lose that leadership, and I guess really hard when you bring in someone that hasn't trained in that position, because you rely on Adam Reynolds to be there consistently, and you kind of lose your structure a little bit. So that's where Ezra Mann coming, your little man that you think is cunning.
He's cunning, man.
That's where he come into his own, because he had to start playing some footy, because they went out the window, everything moved a little bit. It'll shift a little bit when Reynolds come off, because, going from your normal structure to trying to play a little bit of ad-lib to try and catch that game back.
Yeah, they're quite a sleeping giant right now, the Broncos, with so many injuries to some of their top guys.
You're talking
Reece
like they're your
Walsh.
favourite team.
They're my least favourite team, but I'm saying because I'm scared when all those guys come back, they're going to start wasting the league again. But let's move on to the next game. There was a Friday night for us, Friday afternoon for Australia.
Oh, mate.
The Bulldogs versus the Roosters,
In the
which
rain.
ended with the Bulldogs winning 30-26. There was a couple
Wow.
of
Yeah.
cards shown.
Yeah.
Thoughts
Yeah.
on those?
It was especially one controversial one and one warranted one, I think.
Yeah.
Sydney was, they were under a weather warning all weekend. You would have known on the Saturday when the Warriors played because it was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
And it was a dry pitch. But the night before, the Friday night, both the Sydney game and the Newcastle game, torrential rain. But I don't know, when I think about, when I go back to my time playing in the rain, most favourite time to be playing a game, it just brings back really real childhood memories of playing. And when,
Backyard.
especially when you think about rugby league, like you're so serious, and at the end of the day, it's just a game. With a bit of pressure on top of that. So when you're playing well, you're having fun. And I feel like when the rain comes out, that's what brings you back to your childhood memories. And I think when you're a child, you had fun in the rain. And that's why you got to try and shift your focus, although you want to try and win as well. But this game, a red card and a yellow card, one for a hip drop, one for a high tackle contact, pretty much knocked the bro out. So I think, anything that hits the head with the intent of trying to stop something, which at the moment there was a pass to score a try because he's jammed in off the wing, and there was intent in doing it, like it deserves a red card. Like you've got to go because he was clean knocked out. He was seized up on the ground.
But did his shirt have to
Seized
rip
up.
as well?
And then you wanted to talk about the shirt. You were just too busy admiring the boys' pics.
Yeah, bro, you know.
like that a bit too much.
Hold on a
I mean-
minute, don't take yours off. Nah.
Nah,
I
please
mean,
don't.
I saw Crichton holding that.
Yeah.
And I saw him and he had that little smile while pulling it. He knew what he was doing with the shirt, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you didn't have to do that, bro. Come on, bro. He's got his card. He's going to get his card already, bro.
But
You know it.
the hip drops must be one thing or one tackle that's been spoken about a lot through, I guess, the competition last year and this year. And there's all different interpretations. From a fan watching the game, do you guys know what a hip drop tackle is? I can demonstrate it to you, but I won't because it might.
Yeah, I can.
You want your ankles?
I can probably say I've done a few in my days.
Yeah, okay.
Using my weight.
But do
to
you
drop.
know what a hip drop tackle is?
It's to do
That's-
with the weight, right? You swing round, all of your body weight goes onto the back of the leg, something like that.
On the back of the ankles, yeah, something similar to that. So if you watch if their game was, if we all watched it, I know everyone watched it, and even the fans watched it, and everyone outside watched it as well. The Victor Radley one when he got the 10 minutes for the hip drop.
Yeah.
Did you think it was a hip drop?
It's one of those marginal ones, to be honest, to me, because, I some of them don't really look like it to me, but I've never received one. I don't know what it feels like. I don't know if that's damaged him or...
Yeah, isn't part of it that if your body weight lands on their leg or something like that, that's considered a legitimate hip drop tackle. But with Radley's one, he clearly, he grabbed the hips, but his legs all kind of flew out to the side of him, and he just kind of fell awkwardly.
Well, this is the problem, when we can't even decide
you
or
can't
know
even-
what a hip drop is, and there's different interpretations when we're playing, and then people are saying, oh, well, that wasn't a hip drop, or this is a hip drop, and this is what it looks
Well,
like.
how much of it is actually also the fact that the player got injured? Like, if you're doing and maybe it's not a hip drop, but because the player got injured, the referee has to take action, so he calls it a hip drop.
Well,
is there a bit of that in there as well?
Well, a lot of it's reaction too, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you get put in an awkward position, and that automatic reaction to just to go, ow, you know what I mean? Or jump in a way that you don't normally. I don't know, because it wasn't a hip drop, I think. It wasn't a hip drop. And he wasn't injured. He didn't get injured because nothing happened and didn't land on the back of his ankles where we call a traditional hip drop. So I think that was controversial. I know Trent Robinson come out and said that wasn't, but he also tried to defend his player around Dominic Young around the red card as well, which I think he's got that way off.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a hip drop. But in the whole game in itself, the Bulldogs, what are we thinking about the Bulldogs? Because they're up and down, but so are a lot of other teams as well. But, they come off a good win again. They lost to South, sorry. They lost to South. They should have nearly beaten them, but South should have smoked them as well. And then they come in here and put a performance in like that up against 11-man team at one stage, a 12-man team for, he went off 27 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I think it's the amount of teams that have been up and down is actually it's pretty much all of them. There's only a couple teams where you can see they're up there in every game, and a couple teams that have been at the bottom every game. But some, like the Sea Eagles, just getting off this game, but the Sea Eagles, man, to go from losing to the Dragons to beating the Panthers in like 2 weeks is pretty crazy. So, yeah, I don't know. The Bulldogs, to me, they've looked sort of like one of those weaker of the mid-range teams because they...
Bit up and down. It's a bit up and down like your attitude, my bro. Bit up and down like your attitude and your energy. But bro, hey, fuck, carrying on. All right, I'm going to chuck this one out there because you're massive lovers of rugby league. Massive lovers of rugby league. What do you think the Bulldogs are missing? What do you think the Bulldogs are missing since Tui? Since E-Man's up and down with his energy and everything else.
Bro, to be honest, I like where they're at. Like, I like where the Bulldogs are at. I like what they're better, definitely better than last year. They're better than last year. I think it's just their middle game.
Yeah.
It's not as like you know, like the Warriors or Broncos, for example, like how they can just
Well,
use
they don't
the
have
middle.
any marquee middle players that stand out. When you talk about the Warriors, you know who their middle players are. Adam Fanua, Blake. You know, you talk about the Broncos, Payne Haas.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about the Bulldogs, you're like, huh?
Who's in there?
But like,
Yeah,
You
so
know,
I think that's what they're missing.
what do you think?
That's also traditionally how the Bulldogs over the years have liked to play too, through the middle. And yet somehow, I mean, this current team doesn't really have that same sort of firepower, you know?
Yeah.
Is it just Serraldo is, you know, he's trying to implement a different style of game plan? I mean, that feels different from what he was doing, what the Panthers were traditionally doing, and he came over from there. It just seems, I don't know. What do you think about that, Adam?
Oh, it's recruitment.
Yeah.
It's you know what I mean. It's where all your money is tied up is mostly where you know they've tied their money up in a lot of utility players, 14s.
Yeah.
So guys that can come on and just get a job, but can also play in different positions.
Yeah.
So I definitely think their 7 needs to be sorted. So you've got Burton, who's a really good 6 and a runner, which is perfect. But then I feel like they're missing a marquee 7. But when you look at the competition, there's not too many 7s that will go to the market. There's not too many, I guess, when you're talking about like really good 7s around the age brackets of like Sean Johnson's, Adam Reynolds, those kind of guys, Fogarty, who's doing really well at Canberra. There's not too many of that quality coming off. There is some young guys coming through, but are they ready to lead a team around of 7s? But also on your guys' point around the forwards, yeah, they just don't have any standouts for me. Workers, but are they going to make a difference? Maybe. We're still yet to see. But at the minute, you come up against a quality side like the Broncos or the Warriors. Are they going to stand up? You know, I think that's where Souths are struggling as well. Souths are struggling with their middle pack. So you come up against
Speaking of
quality.
Souths, shall we move on to
It's up to you, bro.
probably one of your guys'
Brady.
favourite games of the season?
It's up to you.
I was
Definitely
waiting
yours
for.
too. Looking at the jersey, I know you're a big Warriors man, Adam.
Saturday afternoon, 5 p.m.
Yeah, that was.
Look at that one. Look at that
Oh, you
one.
look
man.
like you want to
Got the
talk about
2-minute
that
pizza.
game.
Let's go.
Bro,
What's your
Yeah.
thoughts, bro? Straight off the
Bro,
bat, you know,
straight
when you
up,
look
I
at when
like-
you look at the score,
yeah.
you're celebrating, eh?
Yeah, but besides the score, I think
Break out the red panties, you reckon? It's a celebration.
What?
It's a celebration.
What is that, man?
Not the Conor McGregor's.
No, I feel.
Oh, bro, he's rattled.
Bro. You know, mate. Been waiting for this game, eh? All the other games I just
You're
gave some
sad.
info, but this is the one. No, but they're good.
So you're happy with the scoreline? You're happy with their performance?
Yeah, bro.
Chance was back.
Yeah,
Been a lot of conversation around Roger.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
you're
yeah.
a massive fan of Roger as well, and so am I, and so are all the fans out there. Chance the fullback. Roger shifted from centre to wing because of
wing.
Dallin to Mighty Martin back in.
Yeah.
you know, well, the changes, the depth we're talking about here now, how good is that? And it's good to see, obviously, the result speaks for itself.
Yeah, and that's what I think that's what we got to see was that depth. You know, commentators mentioning the 5 players that weren't in the team, the starters, but we got to see Tamara in action, Chan's back,
Yeah.
and he added structure. You know, it's the same structure that we saw last year with the way their backline shifts, the way they move. Roger, you know, playing on the wing, it's not somewhere he's not familiar with. You know, it might have been a while since he's played there. I don't know, but
2012, I think. That was, like he debuted on the wing for the Roosters, 2012, eh? Or I think he also won
He did a little bit with the Warriors as well towards the end.
Did he? Yeah, I think so. I think because he was making way for Reece Walsh. Where's Reece Walsh now?
Yep.
Gone.
Yeah. So I felt they played well, and I felt out of all the performances, I know it's only week 5.
Yeah, round 5.
Round 5, but that was the best performance they put on.
Most consistent.
Most
I thought,
consistent.
Yes, most
performance.
consistent.
And to me, that I was blown away, mate.
As a massive Warriors fan, and who always wears his retro jersey.
Yeah, man. You know, I never wash it. And
yo.
You still got those pizza stains on it. Hey, my bro.
Bro, wait, another guy.
Yeah.
Wayde Egan.
Eesh.
Wayde Egan, mate. From.
Have you been watching much of Wayde Egan over the last, maybe, most probably for me, since his inception into the club, I think it was 2020, he's come into the club, maybe even 19, actually. Have you watched much of Wayde Egan? Have you tracked on how he's been performing over that time?
Bro, I can't lie, mate. I'm not a Warriors fan, eh?
Oh, yo.
Oh, nah, bro.
Shame on you,
bro.
Shame on you.
Come on, baby.
Shame on you. I wouldn't even be proud of that, my bro. At the minute, bro, you're in a bit of Barney now.
That's when you show your pride. When you're in
So
your
you're not a
deepest,
bandwagon.
darkest hole, you know, that's when you show your true colours, which
Okay.
is why I decided to wear this today.
All right, so we'll quickly jump off the Warriors and go to Souths. What do you reckon the problem is there, man? Because I've seen bloody Latrell.
Oh.
You know, obviously a couple of incidents there, the picking up of the legs, and then
In
also
UFC.
the trying to knock out our main player, Sean Johnson. What's he up to?
Yeah.
Is he the issue?
It's probably...
Is he the problem?
Nah.
Who's the problem?
Nah. I don't want to pretend like I am an expert, but something
Just your-
that I want
just
to
your
hear
thoughts.
what
Yep.
you think is the coach. That's because from my not knowledge, lack of knowledge, it seems to me like it's a coaching problem. Is that...
Well, the coach plays on the field.
It always starts from the top, doesn't it?
The coach plays on the field, does he?
Nah. But in general, all of their games so far this season, they've looked actually just horrid.
Yeah, no, I know what you're trying to say there. You're trying to blame the coach without saying the coach. So all you have to say, bro, is I think it's the coach, but I'll tell you what my thoughts are. Okay, I'll tell you my thoughts. You obviously got an organisation, and everyone needs to be buying into the same page. And this is where I think things are getting a little bit messy. You may have a board that thinks he's right for the job or not right for the job. Then you've got a coach who's trying to push his philosophy around what he thinks is the right thing to do and how he can get the team up every single week to perform. And then underneath him, you have a leadership group. And so somewhere in the organisation, there is a loss of connection between the top and your players and also your coach in the middle. So I feel like it's not only a coach's problem, it's also a leadership problem down in the group of men, also a leadership problem at the top. Because there's been incidents this year where, for example, Latrell on the weekend, but also Latrell when he was speaking out in the media, when he was swearing, where I thought, you know, the club could come out and stand up or say something to actually that has something of meaning to the fans or to the club itself, to just get on the front foot. And I haven't seen any of that since, you know, for a long time. I guess Sam Burgess came out. No, he didn't come out, sorry, but there was talk around Sam Burgess and him being really, I guess, honest with a few players, and people didn't like it, and they see himself out of the door. So I feel like not only it's the top and the coaching through the middle, it's also the leadership group through the players. And I feel like they're not all on the same page. And that's what it looks like on the field. I've seen that many incidents on the weekend against the Warriors where Damien Cook comes out looking for players to support him and he's all on his own. They don't have the strongest forward pack. I mentioned that earlier before. But they've got some talent in there that if you look at them 1 to 17, that they should be higher than when they are. I think they're sitting last on the table.
Yeah.
So you can't be happy with that. Well, you can't even be wearing that shirt around here, my bro, because wowee.
Like I said, man,
So
darkest times.
So they're sitting on the bottom of the table. So I think there's a lack of connection and buy-in from not only the leadership players to the coach to the top as well as in the organisation. So that's where I think there is a bit of a problem. And then they put the performances in that they have. So a lot of people will be saying the coach has lost the room. You know, it looks like that. It doesn't look like the players want to play for him. But at the same time, he ain't the one out there doing the job. Sometimes the leadership, because you're the leaders of the group, need to own some or have some accountability, and not only on your own performance but the team performance as well, and go from there. Dills, are you a fan of these fellas, or have you watched the Souths over a long time, or no? You're a fan or a supporter?
Hey, look, I'm definitely more of a Wales supporter than I am of a South supporter. I think I made a statement a little while back saying that I am a South supporter. I really aren't. So it's more.
Are you backtracking? Or?
I'm backtracking. Yeah, I'm being the Indian giver of.
See, these are the type of fans that we don't want in the NRL.
So you started.
You don't want fans like me in the NRL.
So before round one, you're like, yeah, I'm hearty, South's hard, and then you see them sitting at 14th, or sitting them on the last of the table, and you're just like, nah, my bro, I'm out.
Look, the thing is,
white flag, just going like that.
The thing is, I mean, the way the team's playing at the moment, it's hard to be like Ephraim, like admire you, mate, for trying to stand up for that team.
Are you going to get a hiding out there like wearing that, bro? Like straight up.
That's why I wore that.
We're
putting it back
in the hood, bro. We're in the hood.
Well, right now the team is looking pretty average. Like, how much of that is actually the team themselves, and how much of that is how good the Warriors were playing on the day? Because I think there was a few moments where it felt like maybe South would, put up a bit of a fight, but then the Warriors, was it just, what do you think, Adam? Was it just their execution was just much higher, and then it just made South feel pretty crap for the rest of the game?
Yeah, too many errors for me for the Rabbitohs. Yeah. Like attacking the line, dropping balls, just simple, basic fundamentals of the game, And more important even for your first 10 rounds is to complete sets. And a lot of teams will talk about just kicking to corners, completing set, making them come out of their anger. But they had opportunities, Souths, to score points. They just couldn't execute. And the game was quite close early on. But I think this is where the Warriors just grounded them out and just stayed in the game, kept kicking the corners all the time. And then, it frustrated them and they had to try and find ways to get out there. And when they started to spread the ball, they had no energy to execute their plays. And that was most probably, a letdown for them on the night. I think the stats were quite close, really, altogether throughout the game. It's just, I think the Warriors zapped the energy early on, and that's where the result came from, 34-4. And they just didn't look like they wanted to be there. So we'll clap the Warriors, Clap the Warriors. Just quickly, I want to just chuck some thoughts out there. I know you try to just flush over Wayde Egan. He's been spoken about now internationally. Yeah. Internationally. He's been spoken about internationally. I know the coach has come out and said he should be in consideration or even thought about for New South Wales Origin spot. I heard Tohu Harris, who's also played for New Zealand, mention something about New Zealand. Represent New Zealand. I think you got to get residency. I don't know how that works out, but I'm sure the bro's been here long enough. He's one of the brothers anyway. If you say kia ora to the bro, he'll say cheers. So he's qualified. What are you guys' thoughts around, I guess, Origin for starters? Yeah. And if he will be a part of the Origin squad, just our thoughts. And if he's not part of the Origin squad, is the opportunity to get him over to New Zealand?
But I'd want him anywhere. Are
you a New South?
I'm a New South fan.
Ugly.
I'm a New South fan, so of course I'd want him there.
Are you all New South in here?
Yep. New South, baby.
It's just that jersey.
Yeah,
New South, baby.
I'm Queensland all the way, mate.
Yeah.
See, I like that jersey because it's got New South on it,
exactly.
mate.
New South.
So, what's your guys' thoughts? So you obviously, you fellas, go.
Bro. Bro, he's playing mean. And you feel that the team it's quite different when he's not on the field. And bro, I want him at New South. I want him New Zealand if he can. I want him
New
anywhere,
South,
bro.
though, he's got to compete with.
Yeah, so you got Uppy. You got
Yeah.
Uppy. I think both him and Uppy are really similar players.
Yeah.
They're consistent. They work hard around the ruck. They're deceptive with the ball. They got great deception when they come out. Both, I think, Wade's playing on the back of a really good forward pack, but the systems and the structures that the Warriors are playing to helps Wayde play the way he can. I think the same thing at the Tigers. Benji's got them playing around Uppy, so he's more involved in the game because he's good at what he does. So I feel like if you're looking at an Origin 9, if you're looking at, and they normally carry 2 Origin 9s, so if you're looking at Origin 9, I'm saying, this is my thoughts, this is just my thoughts. Maybe I'm trying to push him to New Zealand. It's Uppy and it's Reece Robson from the Cowboys. I think they'll stick with those 2 guys from last year. I think one's got some great deception around the ruck, but then you also got a tough guy coming off the bench that can, he works hard, he plays 80 minutes for the Cowboys. He's when he comes out, he's quite quick. He's more of a service and a runner, and Uppy's got the deception around there. So that's what I think. And then I'll just chuck Wayde Egan over to international stuff and have that conversation.
Plus, let's not
New
forget
Zealand.
about Damien Cook as well.
Yeah, well, bro, I didn't even go there, man.
Yeah.
That's how far.
Well,
That's what I think at the minute.
Last season, I think the first game of Origin, they had only Uppy, and then he got injured. So Reece Robson and Damien Cook weren't in that squad.
Yeah.
And then they brought in the 2 of them. And did they they lost the second game, then they won the third game.
But you lost the series. It
They
doesn't
lost the
matter what
series,
game
yeah.
you won.
But for the 2
game.
games that those 2, Damien Cook and Reece Robson, because I think Uppy is the clear standout number 1 option. But I think Wayde Egan could compete with a guy like Reece Robson. I know you said they're similar, but actually, to be fair, yeah, the Cowboys are coming second overall as well, and Robson is. You know what? I just take that back.
Yeah, well, I think when it comes to Origin, or even like international stuff, when you're picking a squad, you've got to pick the players that are in form.
Yeah.
But you also got to pick players that complement the style of football you want to play. And if Wayde Egan and Uppy Coruscant are the 2 players that you think are going to complement New South Wales and at the 9 position, then that's where you go. If you think having Uppy there and then Reece Robson coming off that complements Uppy or the style that you play, then that's where they'll end up going. But if the 3 of them are in contention, which is great for Wayde Egan, because I think over the time that he's been at the Warriors, he's only developed and gotten stronger with the way that he plays, with having the connection of the guys around him who is now opening up the field for everyone else, for Sean Johnson's the like, to be able to score tries and to Marty Martin. So, great conversation. Or just great to be mentioned by Wayde Egan, to be mentioned in that calibre of 9s.
Yeah.
And he deserves it. I think he's been quality.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about Mr. Coruscant, so let's talk about his team, the Tigers, who unfortunately lost to the Dolphins on Saturday.
Yeah, Benji Marshall, he's at it again, eh? What do you reckon, Master versus Apprentice? I think that was the big conversation going around.
Before the game, mate.
Going around before the game, through the week. I think, like, Benji's doing a really good job. When you look at their side at the start of the season and you go, man, we already knew he was under the pump anyway. You're coming into a club and an organisation that's pretty messy. You had a board in there that were quite strong and firm on what they wanted. And then, halfway through preseason, the ball gets taken out because Benji stood up for what he wants. To me, he seems like he's a coach that knows what he wants. He's a coach that backs himself. He's a coach that understands, I guess, the players. And then they're playing a style of football that they can enjoy. And I said before, I think they're playing a lot off the 9, Uppy, because he's quality at what he does. So I think they're trying to find a style of football that suits the style of players that they have, because they don't have all the superstars. So they've got to come up with a way to try and beat other teams. And, man, they were... Yeah, I thought the Dolphins looked better on the day, but I do think that there's some shining lights through that West Tigers team. Again, we're speaking about Uppy. Man, he's been, the last 3 weeks, has been phenomenal. I think there was a week there where he was he had a tummy bug and he looked like he was sick in the media press
Like
conference.
Michael Jordan
after it.
flu game.
He's jumping on boards. He's showing his commitment as a captain and a leader to be able to grab those boys and chuck them on the shoulder. But I guess they're enjoying what they do. A lot of the media was coming after, Benji early on in the season, before the season even kicked off, about his work ethic. But it just shows if you can get the group, it doesn't matter what kind of style of coach you are, if you can get the group to buy in, you'll get the results. And I don't know if we would have thought, they were going for 3 in a row wins here.
Yeah.
So, to even be speaking about 3 in a row for the West Tigers is an unfamiliar territory for them.
And this was their first game without Lachlan Galvin on his suspension, who I think,
Freak.
looks insanely good. I reckon he's part of the reason why they've had those 2 wins before this game against the Eels and what was the other team they beat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that team.
Yeah, that
whatever.
team.
I forgot
That's
that.
The team, yeah.
Anyway,
Might have been South, yeah. Let's just chuck
Probably.
South in there.
anyways, I think Galvin, people call him the next Nathan Cleary. I don't know if he looks quite the same as Cleary when they play, but he just looks incredible at
Yeah.
being a leader to the team at 18 years old and already so good. What do you think of him? Did you know about him before the season?
No, didn't know too much about Lockie, but he's actually come along really well.
Yeah.
Footballer, looks like it. He just plays what he sees, and I think, who better to learn off than Benji Marshall when it comes to playing footy, but playing eyes up and seeing what you can do with what you have in front of you. And I think his try against Parramatta, that was one of the, I guess that's a highlight moment from the game, and the balance. He goes to the bin for 10 because it was a hip drop, accidental hip drop, goes to the 10, comes back on, seals the game with a bit of an individual brilliance moment. And I think he's going to be a superstar as long as he stays on the right track. This is most probably for everyone, As long as everyone stays on the right track, they obviously make sacrifice, they discipline what they do. He could be something special for the West Tigers. And I think, they've got about 4 different halves, and then Jerome Luai comes into the picture. They've got to think about what they want to do, because someone's going to have to go. You know what I mean? So you can't keep them all. And when those guys come in, someone's going to have to leave. And I think he's a bright future, and he's going to want to upgrade too as well. So contracts come into conversations there, money. I'm sure other teams are circling and seeing what's happening there for sure.
Well, you also got young Latu Fainu there as well. So, yeah, I think they're kind of spoilt for young halves.
Yeah.
But you were talking about Benji before and how he's very clear on what he wants as a coach. How much of that, I mean, you've played for a lot of high-end coaches over your time. You probably played for some that, weren't as good as others. I don't know what I'm getting at by saying that, but yeah. Let's just dig myself out of this hole. But going back to Benji and having that clarity, do you think that is what's helped Galvin become as successful as he has so early, but also the Tigers being able to, rally together and seemingly play better than that everyone expected them to, how they expected them to play?
Yeah, definitely. I think the most important thing as a player, and I think you might have heard, you guys would have watched it, Chance Nickel Kluxler talk about how much his coach believes in him and the confidence that gives in him. And how much he supports the coach for what he does for him. So and that's a prime example of a coach trusting in a player by giving him understanding that he knows what he gets from Chance. He knows Chance is our fullback. He knows that he's the best player for the job. So similar to the Tigers, it'll be the same thing as theirs. Clarity is key when it comes to players, and it's important that when we're speaking to a player that they understand what their role is in the team. And I guess for him, the unpredictability of being new to the game, not having that pressure of leading the team around because you got Aiden Caesar on the other side, is just to go out there and play football. I guess the pressure from the outside is on all the players. But again, the pressure of not being successful this year is most probably what they've just gone under the radar with. Is gone, all right, everyone expects us to lose. Let's surprise them and put in the performances that we're doing. We know internally that we know what we can deliver, but the outside doesn't. And let the noise be the noise, and we just focus on ourselves, because there's always going to be noise around West Tigers. We know that just from everything that's happened in the past. So I think their focus has been, let's just control what we control. We'll coach the heck out of these boys and get them up to scratch where they need to be. And at the end of the day, go out there and play footy and enjoy yourself and back yourself. If you see something, take it on. And I guess when you have a coach that backs you as an individual but also as a team, then sometimes you play a free-spirited game where you just play what you see and you just play football. And it's like those moments I said about playing in the rain. You're just enjoying yourself. And it's bringing back those child memories of when you had the most fun. So important as a player and a coach to make sure that the clarity around the individuals and also your role plays a key part in your performance as well.
Any thoughts on how the Dolphins did in that game?
Wow, what a surprise package they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I had some conversations with some mates around. They asked, "So who do you reckon is going to be a surprise package?" Well, guess what I said?
Self.
No, I didn't say Chelsea.
I mean, they are a surprise package, but maybe for the wrong reasons.
I said the Dolphins. I said, if you're thinking about who can pop into the 8, no one said that. Who would have thought they'd be sitting right up the top? But I said, if there's going to be a surprise package this year on the back of what I saw and the recruitment that they have had, I thought that'll be the Dolphins. I think they're tracking along very well, but we'll get to some of their things later on after this. But I think they're tracking along really nicely. And they're playing a Wayne Bennett style, but they also got the speed now out wide. So when they get those balls to those guys, they're making a big difference. Jerry Marshall-King's a big difference to their team. We understand, like all of us understand, how important nines are to the game. They touch the ball the most. There's his creativity and his speed and his options that he has played off the back of his positioning around the field is the key to what the Dolphins are doing this year. So really surprised. That is the package.
That's the surprise.
Sweet.
package.
The last game of the round was the Raiders versus the Eels, an absolute demolishing, hiding, all sorts of bad words, what they did to the poor Eels.
Yeah.
What do you think happened for the Eels? How did they just completely capitulate in that game?
Dewey, that's your other second favourite team, isn't it? So you'll be happy to talk about.
Did you hear the
your
word he
losing
just
team.
said? How did they capitulate? Like, what the heck is that, bro? Capitulate. I was just going to say, in my mind, I was just thinking, Mitch Moses isn't the excuse anymore, and then he says capitulate. What is that? But, sorry. In that game, man, before the game, Dylan Brown's interview, they had confidence in all of that stuff. He spoke of the Mitchell Moses being missing and that he would need to take charge. He's going to have to lead the game. And, I think that I didn't really see that from him. Yeah. From the Dylan Brown, man. I didn't see that from him. I know he's capable of it, but I just didn't see it. And I just saw the Raiders just play the way they wanted to play, control the game they wanted to, control the Eels. They just had an amazing game. Yeah, well,
Dylan Brown's international player. He's not a 7 yet, eh? He's not a 7 yet. And I think they're still trying to play the same style as when Mitch Moses is there, but he's not.
Because he's different.
So whether they've got to change, I guess, the game plan to suit the calibre of players they have, which I think they need to. That is soon to be seen, but I think that's where they're going wrong, is that they're trying to play a style that when they were playing, Mitch Moses was in the team, and you got a couple of young guys. Dylan Brown's not young, but he's still young in football terms, but he's a quality in an international rugby league player, and he's just not. I don't think he had. I guess if you had time, you'd be able to try and turn him into a 7. But they don't have time. The game doesn't allow you to have that time to settle into a position and try and play when you've got injuries. So the quicker they can get Mitch Moses back, the better the Parramatta Eels are going to be. But they come up against a hot side Canberra Raiders who have been consistently tough. And if you think about the Raiders, you think about how tough they are as a group. They don't have the flashy players, but they have players that work hard for each other. The middle of the pack is international and origin quality players. And they've got, obviously, I spoke about Fogarty before, who just playing a similar role to some of these older experienced sevens at the minute, putting them in corners. You got the old stager Jordan Rapana sitting at the back, who's looked like he popped his kneecap open.
Oh, that was
his
a
his
shame,
kneecap.
mate.
He goes off,
yeah.
he can't walk, and then he straps it up, and you're thinking, what's this fella up to?
Right.
The old fella just goes, nah, you're not stopping me. I'm going back out there. Goes back out there. I see a couple of plays. He's limping around again. I'm thinking, bro, just get off the field. And then the bro finishes the game. I'm like, man, this guy is a Māori warrior. He's actually a freak. You know, you go from your kneecap looking like it's dislocated to taping back up. So if you had a look on the sidelines, it looked like it was swollen as, but he got out. And I guess this epitomises the Canberra Raiders for me. Tough, resilient, not flashy at all, but can be if they need to. But I think importantly for the first 10 rounds, like most teams, is you want to be a tough, resilient team. And I think that's where they are. They take you into some dark places. They try and bash you up. Like, I think if you were to play the Canberra Raiders, you'd be sore the next week, the next day. And they've got some quality players. I think the standout for me, Matt Tamoko, man.
Yeah,
turning
baby.
into a really quality centre. He's still really young in his career. But man, the bro can carry the ball. He can score some tries. He beats defenders. He breaks tackles. Everything that you ask for as a centre that you want in your team is someone like Matt Tamoko. And man, he was a standout for me.
Especially after such a good season last season and playing for the Kiwis. Seems like he's only going up again. He's already looked like one of the best centres in the whole NRL, I feel like.
Straight up.
I reckon.
Well, you coached him at the Maldives as well, didn't you, Adam?
Yeah, I coached him at the Maldives. Definitely did coach him taught him a few tricks of how to break tackles because I've got the biggest legs in town.
Well, obviously you didn't teach him how to score tries.
No, I didn't teach him how to score tries because, like, if you go back to my tally of tries, it's only 12. I played 15 seasons. So I got, nearly 1 try a season, 2 years where I just did a nudie run, something you fellas will be doing after the show. Nudie runs because you're bloody hopeless. Frauds. You're frauds.
Capitulate.
Yeah. You can't even speak English and you support the bunnies and they're coming last. So, yeah, I just think, the Canberra Raiders are a quality side. They're going to be there or thereabouts at the back end of the season. I'm excited to see where they go. From there, and then I guess if we go into the conversations around the ladder, and I guess the surprise packages around there, Dills.
Well, before we shift on to that, just going back to our mate Jordan Rapana.
Holy
Rapana, do you think because obviously he's a big part of Ricky's plans to not rest him even though he's been injured, or maybe it was just Jordan not wanting to be rested. Do you think he kind of epitomizes what it is to be a Raider? Like, he's this hearty Māori boy. Where's he from? Can you look that up? Do you know that one straight off the top?
To just be in that sport.
Is Dills listening to me, bro? What my answers
I don't know.
Because I'm sure I'm sure I said exactly what you just said.
No, I don't think you did.
Jordan Rapana epitomizes the Canberra Raiders, and
you did say that, mate.
He's very because he's not
did
listening.
Say that, mate.
What I want you to do is elaborate.
But he's also he's also called a Spartan as well.
Yo.
Because he's also called a Māori warrior as well.
Right.
But like again, if you want me to elaborate on him epitomising what the Raiders are, I think Ricky would have said no, come off. Jordan would have gone nah.
Yeah.
He's a team player and he would have done everything possible to get back on it. But he also understands that his time is numbered on the field. Yes, that comes into play a lot too, but I think he's in career best form. He's playing at fullback where I think he might be 34 as well. At 34, nearly 35, man, it takes a toll on how much Ks you clock up at the back. I think like your quality your fullbacks are running anywhere between 7 and 9 Ks a game. And that's a lot of Ks to cover in a game for an older player. And I think we may have heard Roger speak about this before, but as you're getting older, obviously it gets harder about trying to be aerobically, fit to be able to move as much as you need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said and like I said earlier, he epitomises the Canberra Raiders to a T, and emotionally Ricky Stewart as well, and what he pushes.
Yeah. I think that was what I was trying to get at.
That's
What age? Hey, also, what age did you retire, Adam? How old were you?
I retired in 2020. I was 34.
34.
So quite
so
crusty.
random.
So quite crusty in rugby league, eh? Because there's
Well,
only I think Cam Smith got the 36. Eh?
36.
36. I think he got the 36, but I thought he could have gone on for another year or two the way he was playing. I thought the game kind of came to a point where he was playing, he was ahead of the game. Just more around just his ball distribution and his options picked around the line, which is a crucial part in the game anyway. So I think, he gets up to, he got to 36 or 37. 37. So it would have been like him and Paul Gallen, most probably a couple of oldest, and Steve Menzies, who got up to that age as well. But those guys,
Smart players.
they're real smart players, and I think I always got to 34, so I'm just lucky, man. Just as hearty as Māori dude from up north, bro, living on the farm, and then just thought I'll just chase a dream over in Aussie and just give it a crack. And 15 years later, 331 games, 51 test matches, and a couple of Māori All-Stars. And here I am today speaking about the game I love. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Hey, it's a good life, mate. It's a good life.
You like those ones, eh?
Yo.
Stats of Doom. That was just rattle shot off the top of my head. I actually don't know that. I just made that up. I know I played 331 games.
Yeah.
And 51 test
So,
matches.
Ephraim, how about that ladder, eh?
Well, let's pull it up, eh? Statman.
Holy, the ladder is.
Yo,
we see the bunnies sitting down the bottom, and we're sitting up the top of the ladder. And who's at the top of the ladder?
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
Dolphins.
There it is.
There's the
There it
ladder.
is. We
What
got
a
there.
ladder, man!
Bro.
What's our when we look at the ladder? Just have a quick look.
Yep.
Give me a couple of seconds, and then go whack. Give me your answers.
Well, obviously the Panthers are too low
Yeah.
from what they are. They're going to be pushing to get back up to the top of the ladder, you'd think. The Storm probably are the only... When I was saying before about the teams... Actually, no, I didn't say that on the show. That was not when we were recording. I said it before we recorded, which is how you know it's true, that there's only a few teams that I thought looked like they could win it all from their performances put in so far. It's the Panthers, based on, their past, and the Storm and the Warriors, I think, are the three best teams so far from individual performances. So I'd say that those guys are going to push up towards the top,
Yeah.
and then Souths are going to get off the bottom. That's what I'm reckoning about this table right now.
Yo.
Celts will move up just one.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see the Warriors in a nice position. I think they're building into some consistency. If I had my 8 at the start of the season, I didn't have, just thinking off the top of my head, I didn't have Raiders. I didn't have, is that the Tigers 8th?
Yeah.
I didn't have the Tigers at 8th. So the only two, if I was to change those two, I would have had the Broncos
9.
and the Roosters in my 8.
Wait, did you have the bunnies at the bottom, though?
No, I didn't have. I had the bottom. So if I rattle you off quickly in my top 4, I would have had.
Yo.
I had Panthers 1. I had Roosters 2. I had Warriors 3 and Bunnies 4. That was my top 4. And this was before the season kicked off. So look how good I'm going, guys.
Yeah, man.
What do you reckon, boys?
Bro, for me, I think my top 4 would be Warriors 1, Warriors 2, Warriors 3, and Warriors 4.
Bro, who put this? Who put this fellow in? No. Who put this team in, mate? Straight up, bro. Someone get him out of here, bro. He's done, eh?
I thought you'd appreciate that passion, man. That's listen to the man.
Yeah, but
He's
I tell you what,
convinced.
I'm a Warriors fan. I'm a Warriors fan, bro. That fella, he's got to go. He's one of those annoying fans that just hang around. They're just yelling out up the wires all the time, and you're just like, bro, we get it, cuz. It's up the wires hard.
That's me, man.
So, what? No one's picking the Dolphins to be in the top 4. Even
No,
though they're
bro.
No,
leading
I
team
had
right
them
now?
in my 8. I definitely had them in my 8 as a surprise package. I think when we move, we'll go to our next conversation if we still can still speak about the ladder, but injuries. This is where I think the ladder may change a bit for us. They've had a couple of big injuries. Herbie's gone. Flegler is gone. So Kafusi is gone. So they've lost 3 really good quality players and leaders, I think. And then obviously those 2 boys from the Bronx were key marquee signings for them, eh? So I think they will slip down. I don't know about their depth, to be honest, and where they will end up finishing up. But I just think because they lose those 3 guys, I think that may change a little bit for me when it comes to the ladder. So I'm hoping like they don't, because I feel like, you know, the consistency has been really good for the Redcliffe Dolphins, and I think that weekend or even a couple of weeks now, there's picked up about 26 injuries through the NRL. It's a massive number of injuries for anyone, but I think when we look, like I just said about that ladder, is there anyone else that you think that would, what a team that will be affected from injuries? Like I guess, we're still early, we're round 5, so we've still got time,
Yeah.
but. It's getting to that point where you got to start putting some consistent performances through. I guess, for example, South Sydney, they need to get up off the bottom. They lose Latrell Mitchell. He's a big key player, and I don't think he's been playing his best footy anyway. But something like that. So you miss someone like Latrell. Souths need to go on the run. What are they doing? Who's like a big out for a lot of those teams now if we're going on a run or consistency?
Well, I think he's already out from his suspension, Latrell.
Yeah.
So that's probably not good news.
Well, that's 3 weeks, eh?
That's not good news. Yeah, 3 weeks for them to lose 3 more games, maybe. Some other ones that you've seen. We talked about Jordan Rapana.
Yeah.
If he gets injured, I think that they could actually have some trouble because the way that he is as a leader from the back,
Yeah.
and because he's, as you said, such a epitome of the Raiders spirit and such a tough guy.
Spartan.
So,
He's a Māori Spartan.
a Māori
300.
Spartan. I think he's probably a key one. Tedesco.
But you don't think Sebastian Chris, who's played there before, can fill that void? Because I've seen him do it before, and I think he's a quality player too, Sebastian Chris. So
He is, but I
know you know.
have memories of
He's a
Yeah,
rough
yeah,
fan,
go
of
back.
when he tackled
must love
Caleb
Rapana.
Ponga at the end of last
Yeah.
year, and then that was because of his coverage from
Yeah.
fullback.
Yep.
And I've thought that they look a lot better when
Yeah.
it's the other way around with him in the centres.
Yeah.
When he can just go about his work and not have that sort of pressure that he has when he's at fullback.
I've actually got a really easy one for Tui.
Yeah.
Brisbane Broncos, bro. They're
Yeah.
losing Dean Mariner, Adam Reynolds, and we're not sure yet when Reece Walsh is coming back. I've seen the bro running around with a headgear that looks like, I don't know what,
Yeah.
guard down over there and stuff. What do you reckon? Do you reckon, because they're out of the 8 at the minute, how do you reckon that affects them?
Yeah, no, as I said earlier, not having Reece Walsh alone in there kind of changes their structure or the way they play. Now with the injuries to Mariner and Flip, who's the other guy? Oh, Reynolds, sorry.
Wait, can someone take him straight up, take him out of
I
here?
had a brain fart, but I think
you had
Reece
something.
plays the way he does
Yeah.
because of Reynolds.
Yeah.
Reynolds, the way he controls their team, allows Reece to run
Yep.
and just play the way he does. So it'll be quite different having, I don't know when Reece comes back, but if he comes back before Reynolds can or
Yep.
does, I think they're going to struggle a little
Yeah,
bit.
so we're saying Dolphins, Broncos, Roosters,
Roosters,
who
Tedesco.
are all in
Yeah.
like 3
Tedesco.
key positions in the ladder that need to stay consistent. They're the ones that are going to be affected the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the minute, the Broncos, I kind of think that as soon as those guys all come back,
They'll be good.
Walsh, Reynolds, Haas, they'll have the quickest turnaround.
Yeah.
They'll immediately they'll probably win a game by
We've
like 30
seen it.
points or something as a statement.
Well, I think it's like any team. You bring your best players back into the team.
Well, obviously, yeah, but specifically
they're
they were
gonna
the
be
grand
a little bit more
finalists last
confident
year.
and happy with where they are.
Grand finalists last year, so it's even better for them. because their best players are,
Yeah.
you know, Reece Walsh, Payne Haas of that level. So
Nice.
I think their turnaround coming off the injuries, because they're struggling the most right now, will be the biggest.
And then they also miss, Roosters also miss Sam Walker as well. So both on Category 1 HIASA, which is a mandatory 11-day standard. You guys know that, eh?
Oh yeah, bro.
Now I know it.
Now we know it.
Got your wisdom on that one.
Yeah,
I knew it, man.
You must have had a couple of those. Is that how you know how many days?
Nah. I just obviously watch rugby league, guys.
No, I knew that. Like,
Yeah, so it's like obviously, you know, having Tedesco and Sam Walker on a 11-day mandatory standard, they miss 1 week.
Yeah, but then with the Tedesco one, like obviously you got obviously you got Joey Manu who can take that spot as well. Like the transition there is pretty, you know, it's not like it's a massive drop off going from 1 to 2, you know.
But I think you see the difference when you lose someone like Dylan Brown and Mitch Moses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the different drop off, the different style of play.
But
You know
also
what I mean?
different
you-
positions.
Yeah, well, but you coach to a style that suits the team, which you would think. Souths aren't doing it. Para aren't doing it. You know what I mean? So you're coaching to the caliber of players. Joey Manu possesses a different style of football. Eh? He's more elusive. He plays footy. He's pops in and around everywhere. I think they've found a style, the Roosters, that suits the team. And then you got Sam Walker, who's a bit of an ad-lib player, and I really like what he's been doing. So I think it shouldn't change too much because you've got a core of culture and systems and structures that should beat teams. But when you come up against quality teams that are fully strength, then that's when you start finding, you know, you're looking around for those Tedescos and the Sam Walkers for a player to bring something up. So that's what I think. That's just my me thinking.
Which
Yeah,
is
just-
definitely the most valuable
Yeah,
2 cents
yeah.
that any
Yeah,
of
you
us
know,
can
I
give.
mean,
But
from what we say, you know.
so before we head off, let's talk about one more interesting
we
thing.
have to.
Just probably KFC.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty hungry.
Yo,
Didn't-
hard.
Didn't eat earlier today.
Yeah,
but
okay.
let's talk about
DMs.
the
whoa.
DMs, Deli M.
Yeah.
We're going deep. We're going deep into the DMs. We're going
into
deep into the DMs. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch much or see much of the DMs and know how it works?
I don't really know how it works, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you want to break
Do you
that
want me
down.
to explain it to you too?
Yeah.
All three, just in case you don't.
Because I'm only all for the Warriors, and I'm wondering why none of them are on there.
So yeah, you're hard out, bro. Me too. I'd rather see more Warriors players in there. But I guess the problem with the Warriors are just quickly. There's most probably a group of 5 players that are polling points, and when you poll points, you take points off each other. Eh? So one game, Sean might be the best player, Roger might be the best player, Chance might be the best player, Adam might be the best player, Wayde. So you got 5 guys that you've got to give points to. You know what I mean? So if I'm giving him 1 and him 2, so you know, instead of getting the full amount of points, which is 6, you can get a total of 6 for one player. They've got to try and spread them all out. So you would have seen on that Deli M poll, Kalen Ponga,
yeah.
he's on 17 points. Like, let's be honest, the bro's the best player in the Newcastle Knights
Yeah.
team. So, although they've only won 2 games, the bro's still sitting up there. He's still polling points. You know what I mean? Which I find it hard to believe when you've lost 2 games and you come up against like Hammer, they've played all their games and they've won. They're sitting on top of the ladder. Then you got Kalen Ponga, who this is where it comes into contention, boys. It's one good player. So if he has a mean game, he's either polling 6 points, which is the maximum if they're won. Well, I think if they're won, and then everyone else just gets whatever's left over. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
2 people watch a game, and 2 people watch it every other game of the week.
Yeah.
And then you get a score between 6 and 1. So
And it
and
gets
you've got to
shared out.
divide. Even if you think he's the best man on the ground, then he gets the total of
He gets
6.
all 6.
Or if you think he's 4, 3 over there, 1 over there, 2 over there. You know
So
what I
is
mean?
the start of this season
True.
then like showing how he won it last year? Did he just do this kind of thing where?
Well, no, he
week
went
to
on
week-
that 10-game
Yeah, it was
straight
that back
winning
end,
streak.
eh?
You know what I mean? Best player on the ground. Yeah, no doubt about it. But for a team that started 2 and 3, have they won 3 games? 2 games? You know what I mean?
think they're
Like
2 and
it's
3.
Yeah.
it's hard to believe that in a losing team, he's polled points. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
Eh?
yeah.
So the conversation for me is how is someone polling points in a losing team? Because when you watch a game, you give it to all the standouts on the winning team, and then you might go, we'll give Kalen 1 because they lost. You know what I mean? Or we just give them all to the winning team. I guess that there was a conversation around Parramatta and Dylan Brown polling points. Got a hiding.
Could he have got them all? And
that's what I was going to say.
Got a
Like,
hiding.
does the win-lose thing...
But like you imagine if you and I are selecting a game and we're watching that Parramatta and Canberra game, we ain't looking at Parramatta. We're watching who won the game, and that's where our points go. You know what I mean? How does Dylan Brown get a point in a losing team? That's similar to what's happening with Kalen. So I'm telling you right now, boys, and everyone out there, this is not a sure bet. But hey, if you got a spare tenner, chuck it on KP, bro, for Dally M. He's going back to back, baby. What do you reckon?
I like to hear that, mate.
He's one player, and how the Dally M works is one player, and this is how it works. He's going to poll all their points.
Well, it's weird how the NRL do it, because the NBA do it in a different fashion, where you actually have to be a winning team to be considered as an MVP type caliber player. You know, and even with all-star selections, you know a bit about this, Ephraim. But, yeah, it just seems weird that you can be so far ahead on a losing team.
17 points, bro. Like, he only has to poll. Like, there's going to be moments in the year. If he stays on the game, in the game and doesn't get injured, he's going to be hitting some more sixes. You know what I mean? And so, bro, he will shoot out way ahead of everyone. And the least amount of points he's going to get one, bro. He's in the front now. And like I said, he's the one player in the team that's their standout. And I guess Hamaso's doing well. You know, these guys. Viliami Kikau has been good for me.
Yep.
Like, he deserves to be where he is. I guess the hardest thing is, like, I guess Pappenhausen, because you got Jerome Hughes and all the quality players that they have down there. So this is where, I guess, same as Dylan Edwards, like, he's doing really well. Nathan Cleary's not in the squad A. So Nathan Cleary would normally poll all the points, or at least 4. Dylan normally always gets, I reckon, should always get 3 because he's a consistent performer. So those guys, Tedesco's most probably going to fall out. Drinkwater's been quality. You know, Ben Hunt's been okay. Katoa's only come back into the team. He's been good. So I guess that's my argument, is that, you know, when we talk about, I guess, Dally M's, surely it comes from the winning team first before you even give a point to the losing team. But sure bet. No. I didn't say sure bet, eh?
Oh, you pretty much said sure bet.
It's not a sure bet, but this is my thoughts.
A tenner.
KP with the back-to-back Dally M's. Brothers, chuck a tenner on there.
Shout out,
Let's
Kalen.
go, eh?
Shout out, Kalen. And for our final thing before we all go home, or I go to KFC or whatever, I want to hear your guys' moment of the week. So an individual moment or a performance from a player, something that happened on the field, maybe off the field if something funny happened, I don't know. But let's start with the guy who we all know where it's going to be from, the Warriors, man.
Yeah.
But what was your moment of the week?
Oh, bro, my moment of the week was just beating South Sydney. No, not for the fact, but the history.
Easy.
Like, we haven't
Easily satisfied.
We haven't beaten South Sydney since what, 2018.
18.
And I remember that year when Roger
The
had
famous Adam Blair was playing.
You know, you were playing.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Like,
Just so you know.
yeah, like we haven't won since then, and South has always
Back
been
then
a
it was
team.
5. We won 5 straight. Went on a 5 straight winning streak early in the season. Made the top 8. Got knocked out for a penalty. But not a bad year.
No, it wasn't a bad year, and I think that was the last kind of decent year for the Warriors, and so
beating South was the moment.
Yeah, because we haven't done it in a while. The last time I remember beating South was that game, and Roger did a try-saving tackle on what's it? Johnson, and
Magic.
just that and that kind of gave us fans like that feeling like, oh, this might be the year.
Yeah, hard.
And to see us beat Souths, last year we're on a mean run. Warriors were playing well.
Cuz it's a moment, bro, not a lifetime.
No, wait.
I know. I chucked my 5 cents in there and most probably put you on a little bit of a journey because we asked for a moment. You're giving me a novel.
This is the passion.
But we got to go, cuz.
This is the passion.
We can't still be here. We got to
Let me
go,
say
man.
one more thing.
The brothers are telling us, bro, that's enough. Sorry, bro. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, sweet.
Hey, so I didn't get an earpiece, so I didn't get told that there was a time. But
no, but it's a moment, bro.
Yeah. Last year we were good. Like, Warriors were playing mean, but we always seemed to fall to the Rabbitohs or Roosters. Like consistently, we always fell to these certain teams. So to finally get a win over them, I felt like, bro, I'm gonna celebrate this hard.
Hey, what a moment.
You know? Thank you.
What a moment.
It's a long moment.
Like, I took you into the archives
Bro,
and
it's
you
all
started
about taking you guys on a journey,
You took
mate.
us into a journey, bro.
Dills, what was your moment of the week?
Oh, we're throwing it out to me already.
Yeah.
Yeah, take us on a journey.
I think, honestly, I think my moment was probably the Spartan, Going off early in the game. No, I'm going hard in the Jordan Raps.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, because like going off that early was such a weird looking injury, and then coming back on, I thought was like, bro, you're hearty ass. Yeah.
Probably just tickled for him, that injury, eh?
Tickled.
Just a man, eh?
He looked pretty happy sitting on the sideline as well, you know? He was like, I'm keen to get back on. Like 5 minutes later, I'm like, bro, what are you on? He's just built different, bro. You know, he just keeps going. He's not going to retire like Adam did at 34, you know? Yeah.
Hey, don't jinx it, Dylan. Don't you dare jinx
all
it.
good, knees all good, body sweet,
yeah.
mentals on.
Yeah. The
Adam,
man.
your moment of
Shot.
the week?
Bro, you tell us your moment.
My moment of the week. My
I'm
moment
about
of the
to
week.
close the show, bro. You just tell us your moment first.
So you don't have a moment? Okay, I'll tell my
plenty.
moment first. I'll tell my moment first. It was when Kalen Ponga scored that try at the end of the game of the Knights game. Took a nice swim. I don't know. It was cool. I like Kalen Ponga a lot. It was a cool moment.
Yeah,
With
he's
your
a
Knights
big
jersey?
Kalen fan, this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, like
My
there's-
Knights jersey's on the way. Next
Bro,
week, I won't be wearing this.
There's that much footy on TV, bro, and you've come up with someone sliding in the water.
Yeah, me.
But so his one's too big and my one's too small.
Bro.
No,
What's your moment of the
I
week
just
then?
thought you would have like come up with something more significant than someone sliding in a water puddle. I could have gone up the mung over here and just gone down there, and you could have just recorded me and go, "Hey, bro, what a moment,
So
man!"
how come when you said,
What a moment, man.
How good was that rain? It reminded me of my childhood. That's special to you. But when I say it, you're just like,
No,
what?
I didn't say it was special. I said it reminds me of when I was a kid having fun.
Exactly, it's
Okay.
fun. You know, it looked fun.
But
So was-
no, it's a cool moment,
It's a
man.
cool
I'll
moment,
back you
man.
up.
Give me that one, man.
Bro. Back you up, bro.
Much love, bro.
Shot,
Much
man.
love, eh?
Our two moments are good. Your one's probably going to be way worse.
Nah. So okay, I like. I'm gonna chuck 2 moments in, and it's.
No,
and it-
Our moment.
Our moment.
Our moment, bro.
but this is my show, brothers. eh?
Hold on, earpiece.
You're on my
Yeah, yeah.
show,
Sorry.
and I'm closing the
So,
show.
I think
like
we-
you
I think we're
fellas.
doing one
You're
moment.
right, you go
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But I'll give you a couple, I'll just give you a couple. So my first one was obviously a Waz one. And it was seeing Chance Nickel Kluxler back in the team.
Yo.
So that's
Yeah,
my moment.
yeah.
Him being back in the team obviously boosted everyone around. And my second moment, because they're moments, is RTS 200. I don't know how you guys missed that, and I don't know how you missed, especially our hearty Warriors fan over here, how you missed anything around the Warriors.
Right,
But-
not even one mention in this whole show of RTS's.
Because he's a friend, bro.
But for the bro, for Chance to be back, cool. It's awesome to have him back out there. You've seen, I think, if you watched his interviews after the game,
Yeah.
how much it meant him to be back on the field, how hard it's been on his journey. But then to also be able to play with a childhood hero like RTS, but then also to, I guess, for someone to celebrate 200 games in the game of rugby league is tough. What a milestone, what a great opportunity to do it. And I guess coming back home, he's going to play against the Seagulls. He gets a moment with his family to walk out on Go Media Stadium and celebrate it with them. I thought those were some real special moments for those individuals, but also for fans. Great little milestones and great little moments for those two guys. Hey?
yeah, man.
And Fane, we're going to close it off now, and that's us. That's us for the first episode, and we'll take a look at what's coming up next on our next one later on. Che Fane, laters.
Roger, I love you, brother.
Yo.